Chapter 10 Sacrifice.
"Wait, what?" Chrysalis gasped as she backed away. "You heard me," the figure said, walking towards Chrysalis. "All you need is his heart." "But wouldn't that kill him?" Chrysalis said, with a shaky voice. "Of course it will. What else do you think happens when you rip someone's heart out?" the figure retorted. "Besides, it doesn't really matter anyway. You have already killed him at this point. Just hurry up and finish the job." "But do you not want power?" the figure shouted at Chrysalis, flaring its wings out. "Remember the power that you got from that captain? With his heart you will have even more power, because he loves you." "He loves me?" Chrysalis said as her eyes widened. "It has been an eon since I last felt it, but there is no mistaking it. Its inescapable potency penetrates the air. Its purity saturates the place and awakens my unused senses. In my day I had many a lover, and I, if no one else should know love, when I feel it." She paused, closed her eyes, and raised her chin as though she was smelling a particularly fragrant flower. "Yes," she said with relish, "his naivete has made him a massive reservoir of raw might trapped in potential form. His love shall fill you with an untold strength, and his life will fuel your revenge, making you an inexorable nemesis. Yes, you are standing before the key to the door of ultimate and assured victory. All you need to do is reach out and take hold of it." "Power," Chrysalis said quietly. "Do you know exactly how I transcended that pitiful pony form?" the figure said as she stood next to Chrysalis. "If I didn't know who you were, then how would I know your story?" Chrysalis replied in a sarcastic tone, glaring at the figure. The figure squinted her eyes, frowning. "I will ignore your arrogant and disrespectful attitude this once," the figure continued to glare down at Chrysalis. However, Chrysalis ignored her and continued to stare at the body of Mortar. Failing to elicit a response, the figure broke her stare. Her ears flicked with irritation. The figure also looked at Mortar, her eyes becoming distant and a smile growing on her face. "It brings back such wonderful memories," the figure said. "Back when I was still in that disgusting pony form that you now have, I was able to get whatever I wanted. My victim's race and gender did not matter. I was able to control them all. But sadly, that form became more disgusting as time went on. I wanted even more, so I found the most powerful wizard in the unicorn tribe, and do you know what I did to him?" "No," Chrysalis said flatly. The figure leaned down next to Chrysalis. "I tore him off his ivory tower and brought him down to our level. I seduced him, and with enough pressure I got him to work on forbidden magic. He was the pinnacle of the unicorn race and their magic. Even after finding out what it would take to get what I want, I still managed to get him to continue his work, filling his head with honey-coated words. Getting the heart was easy. I seduced some pony and ripped his heart out. After their transformation, the wizard realized his mistake. But do you know what the best part was? The look on his face was priceless. The horror on his face. The realization of his blunder was delicious. I let him live so that he could feel that every day for the rest of his life. But that was not the best part. The best part is that he spent his entire life trying to hide what he did. He made it look like the pony whose heart I tore out was actually the one who made me a changeling. He did everything to hide what he had done. He went so far as to not tell anyone about me." "What?" Chrysalis said, stunned as she looked at the figure. The figure roared in laughter. It was wonderful. He brought that shame to his grave. He erased every document he could, trying to do whatever he could to erase that mistake from his name. Maybe he succeeded, maybe he did not. Not even Celestia will know. "I will not lie," Chrysalis muttered. "I am impressed with that. What a fool he was." "Indeed he was," the figure continued, still chuckling. "Tell me, I wonder what you will do to Celestia." Chrysalis's heart began to pound. With him, she thought, vengeance would be a simple task. I can utterly annihilate Celestia. I can bring her under my hoof and humiliate her as she did to me, until she begs for mercy. As she did to me, I will tell her sweet lies about wanting only to be her friend. Then I can grind her into the dust and trample her like mud in the streets. I can humiliate Celestia for what she did to me, Chrysalis whispered. Yes, the figure replied. I can torture her like she did me. I can make her suffer just as I have, Chrysalis said, as she walked closer to Mortar. Yes, the figure replied more loudly. All the things you need for power are right in front of you, ready to be taken. I have already achieved this evolved form. Now you can earn it yourself and take the power to control this world. Power, Chrysalis said as she walked up to the hospital bed. Standing on her hind legs, she looked down at Mortar's crippled form. She watched his chest rise and fall with each faint breath. Slowly, placing a hoof on his chest, she felt Mortar's weak heartbeat. She let it sit there, feeling every weak pulse. Slowly, she moved her hoof to Mortar's neck, feeling its slight movement. All it would take to end it is one push. It would be so easy. No fight or struggle to obtain the power I want. Her hoof quivered while her breathing quickened. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and kill him. I want his love now, the figure said, annoyed. Love, Chrysalis thought. He loves me, even after the way I treated him? She remembered when they first met, the usual get-togethers after her shift, and most importantly that night out at Canterlot's wine cellar with him. She clutched her chest with her other hoof as a sickening realization hit her. Her body shivered as she got back down on all four hooves. She realized she was happy when she was with him. I can't do it, Chrysalis said quietly. What? The figure roared, baring her fangs. Why not? Because, Chrysalis whispered, looking away. I love him too. The figure stood there, utterly shocked, with her mouth and eyes wide open, her face quickly twisted in anger, biting her lip. You little whore, the figure roared in fury. You love him? Are you that stupid? You are a changeling. You do not love your food. Have you forgotten what happened to you? I know what happened, Chrysalis said sternly, but I cannot help it. For the first time in my life, I was happy when I was with him. I want that again. I want him. So you want to be in that pathetic and disgusting form? Do you want to be weak? The figure yelled. Do you think I like this body? I hate it. It is soft and weak. I have no magic or wings. I struggle just to pick up the simplest thing. But he makes my life better. At least I am happy with him, Chrysalis said back. That's it. You would be content living as a puppet, to be a lowly wife and slave to Equestria, to Celestia? The figure continued yelling. If that is what it takes to be with him, Chrysalis replied, looking away. Do you think you will even live? Do you think he will love you back, even if he lives?" the figure hissed. "If he wakes up and remembers what you did, do you think he will love you after he remembers you crushed his spirit?" Chrysalis grimaced at the comment. The figure lowered her face. "And don't forget how you also crushed his body. When he remembers that, he will hate you with all of his being. So why not make use of him now, while he is still useful?" Chrysalis had to turn her head away, the truth weighing her down. "She is right, but I want to be with him. I know what I did, but I will risk that," Chrysalis whispered. "So you have made up your mind, then?" the figure asked. "Yes." "You are an utter disappointment," the figure replied as she stood up. Dark shadows began to form out of her body, then suddenly lashed out and grabbed Chrysalis. Chrysalis jumped when she felt something grab her. She opened her mouth to scream, but was cut off when a shadow wrapped around her neck. The room began to darken as the shadow spread out further, engulfing the entire room. Chrysalis struggled, bucking and kicking out, but to no avail as the shadows continued to envelop her. The figure lowered her head and looked into the panicked eyes of Chrysalis. "You are a failure. Since you will not do what is necessary, I will. Your body is now mine. I will finish what you have started, and I will burn Equestria to ashes. But don't worry, dear daughter, I will take care of him. Your lover's pelt will serve as a magnificent trophy near my throne."